Here we go. Arrived in Hedeland, Roskilde. We are at the Devil Trails Enduro race. It's my first mountain bike race ever. There's a good crew. I missed training yesterday, so that kind of sucks. I don't expect to win, but I expect to have good times. Some of the guys rode the stages yesterday and say that they are really awesome, so really looking forward to that. Did underbike a bit with a single speed hardtail. My driver told me that there is a very steep uphill on one of the stages, so let's see how it goes. But let's get some numbers and get racy.
Okay, so for those of you who are not familiar with enduro races, it's a race format where you have stages that are timed. In this case, we have 8 stages today that we are racing on. 7 are known to those who showed up for training the day before the race, and number 4 is the blind one. To me, they're all blind because they didn't show up for training, but that's my bad, I guess.
Sygt sted. Jeg var bare nysgerrig.
So what I really like about this format is that you go full hammer on these 8 stages, but between the stages you just ride along with your good friends. We had a group of 8 people, I think.
Start nummer. Hvad er det?
Det er prøvende.
Morten, er du klar? Ja?
Ja, fedt.
Eller det ved jeg ikke, jeg har ikke været til træning.
Nej, så du er ikke klar.
Så,
det kan ikke være bedre.
Men jeg har tænkt, at jeg har en god turguide på.
Ja, det kan du tro. Skid op to.
Jeg har taget...
Jeg kører sammen her, ikke?
Jo.
Når han forsvinder, så rammer.
Så kører jeg.
Så kører du bare. Sådan der. God tur.
Jo, tak.
Okay, so here we go. Stage 1. I was super nervous. Look at this. I couldn't even stay on the trail. The other guys told me about this wooden fence coming up. They said that I could easily bunny hop it, but it's so sketchy, even though you think that you'll be able to bunny hop it, to just hammer on the pedals on your bike down to a fence that you think you can properly bunny hop. Anyways, what surprised me a lot on this first stage was how hard it actually is to ride your bike when you're hammering in the pedals. And then it's kind of tricky when you're tired and your legs are burning to stay on a narrow trail like this one. So the first stage is a super narrow single track, as you can see here, with flat corners.
Skarpe sving.
So drops like this one is what gets you when you're riding blind, because you have no idea what you're approaching. Of course, the guys that I'm riding with, they will tell me if there was something dangerous on the course, so I know that there's nothing dangerous, but still it's so sketchy to just hammer through down to a drop that you don't know what's behind. So even though it's a small drop, you just can't see it before you're riding off from it.
Satan.
Når de kommer ned. Det er også lidt bedre spot. 3, 2, 1. Go!
Tak.
So stage 2 is one of the stages where I made one of my 2 biggest mistakes. At first we had a big uphill. That was alright. My gearing on the single speed is quite alright for these uphills, I think, as long as they're not too long. There's some rock garden and it's still narrow, and you just don't have to go to the left, then you should be good. And this is where my mistakes will come very soon, because I started to look left, and when you look left you go left, and that is such a beginner mistake that I really hate myself for doing. But that's how it is. I don't know if I was nervous or just didn't focus on the trail or whatever. It happened. But get back on the bike and let's get going. So this one starts out as narrow single track, and then it gets more park style. So when we go down here, the fun part begins, if you're a park rat at least. We have some really nice berms here, and then some rock features, which look scary, but I've seen these 2 features on Instagram from the day before when people were training on it, so I knew that they were jumpable. And I'm happy that I knew that, because otherwise I wouldn't hit them that hard. But it was good. That was a really nice stage, besides the very stupid mistake. And as you can see here, that's what I mean by a nice format. We just ride along, chat about the last stage, ready for the next one.
Jeg vinder jo single speed kategorien, der er jo ikke andre.
Bum.
Easy.
Du kører noget.
Jo, tak.
Okay, so here in the beginning at stage 3, I was told that there would be the split between the black line and the red line. So I knew to take the black line, but I didn't know that I could just hammer through it. I could have gone a lot faster at that part, but I don't know, is that a second or so? I wouldn't have won it anyways. But that was the beginning of the trail. Then we have this uphilly part where you just up with the dropper, set and pedal. For me, I think the hardtail was a really good choice for these parts of the stages, because it's super smooth and you don't lose energy. Even though you have a good fully, it's still more efficient to ride on a hardtail than a uphill like this. And actually the gearing was quite alright for this, at least for my legs. This 32-17 gearing that Nils keeps saying you have to go when you ride single speed in Denmark. That was really nice for this part. And now the fun begins. We have some flowy single trail, kind of narrow, but good fun. And I think just down here around the corner, there's a good double if you know about it. I didn't know about it, so I just went here. Better to be safe than sorry, right? So we have this single track, flowy switchbacks, kind of large switchbacks, I don't know if you will call that switchback. But anyways, you have these flowy corners, single track, and then here it opens up with a lot of different features. And when you're riding blind, it's a fucking jungle to be fair. And you don't know where you can go and where you can't go. All I knew about was there would be a rock garden and I should take the high line to the right, Morten told me. So I'm happy I did that. He said if you do that, there's a lesser chance that you'll flat your rear tire in the chunky rock garden. So no flats for me, and I think my time was alright for me.
Oh.
Fuck. Are you riding single speed?
Yeah.
What?
That's not an advantage. Oh. I didn't know it would be that physical.
You will die on this.
Tredje.
Du må gerne køre.
Okay, so here we go, stage 4. This is a stage that is blind to everyone, so I guess I should be more fair to compare my time on this trail than the rest of the stages. But also this one is very physical and it's a lot easier to spot where you're going on this trail than on the others, at least on some of the others I would argue. But anyways, who cares, it's about having a good time to me, and I really had a good time. My lungs were burning on this one. It was super physical, and I also think that you can see that on the times. Take a rider like Morten, for instance, that we were riding with. Overall, Morten ended at the 4th place and I was 5th, just behind him. But he was 9th and I was 4th on this one. So I was a lot faster than him on this trail. But also again, I'm on a hardtail, and even though I'm on a single speed hardtail and my gearing is not optimal at any point on the trail, but it was alright for most of it. And on a hardtail, you're just so much more efficient on these flat pedal stages than you are on a, I think he was on a 140, 150, something like that, Enduro bike. So that should be an edge. But anyways, this stage was super physical. I think my end time is something like close to 3 minutes. As you will see, it's kind of long, this one. The funny thing is that even though the guy at the top told us that this stage was like 1.1 kilometers or however long it is, we are expecting a long trail, but 3 minutes when your legs are burning and your lungs are burning is a really long time. But there were some good berms, as you can see, along the way, and that stuff to me just kind of take the focus away from the burning legs and burning lungs, and because it feels flowy and that gives you stoke, and when you're feeding on the stoke you can just go forever, I think. So and that is of course so far from the truth, because I had a heart rate of 184, I think, which is one below what Google tells me is my maximum heart rate, so I could definitely not hold this pace for much longer. So for those of you looking at this and thinking this is just a country race, this is nothing with enduro or skills to do, well, this stage is maybe kind of easy. But the next stages will be a lot more twistier and tight and have off camber and all of that weird stuff. So I think it's nice that the stages are very different and that you need to be both fit and be a good bike rider to make it at this race.
Oh my fucking god. Hvad er det for et sted det her? Er det her de loader drugs?
So the name Hedeland is no joke. It's super warm down there. But we found this mini station and you know, it's not time between the races, so you can easily take a break. There's water down at this mini train station.
Hvordan er stemningen på race team? Den er low? What?
How low can you go?
How low can you go? Look what I got from the gravel dude I rode gravel with.
Er det sidskønnet eller hvad?
Jeg ved ikke hvad det er. Men jeg skal prøve den.
Skal det 100%?
Det er funky. Snakebite. Den er hurtigere end mig, han kender det. Jeg kører blind, så det god tur. Jo tak. Come on, baby.
Okay, so here we go. Time for stage 5. This one is definitely one of the trails that I would love to come back and ride. And I'm definitely going to do so, because it's a really cool trail. It has some good off-camber, it's quite technical, but I messed it up completely in this race. I asked the other guys what to expect, and they were very kind to me and told me all kind of details about the trail, but it was way too much. First of all, Morten told me to expect a 180-degree corner. This corner, but look at that, we are quite far down the trail, so I have been constantly searching for this 180-degree corner and I just couldn't find it. And then I go around it and I'm like, okay, now it will be off camber. That's sketchy, that's not what I'm good at. And look at this, my second stupidest mistake on the trail. I went off on the entire race. I went off the trail once again. And actually it doesn't really take that much time for me in this stage when I look at the footage. But it just took so hard on me mentally. I felt like a complete failure. Why the hell did I go off on a... It's quite off camber, but it's not that bad. And I wasn't going that fast. I should be able to make it. But I guess that's what happened. I was completely overthinking it and I wasn't looking where I was going. I was thinking off camber, and then I was looking down at the off camber stuff and then I just went down there. That's stupid and that's how it goes, I guess. Lesson learned. Hopefully we'll be better next time. But then it's a quite long part afterwards and I was just bummed, so I didn't really enjoy it. And you could see there was a good berm right there. There was some fun parts to bunny hop, some small roots and stuff, and I just didn't do it. First of all, you're kind of tired when you're down here. Second of all, I was just bummed by that stupid mistake.
Det er lige dårligt.
So this is where mountain biking really shines, if you ask me. Morten breaks his chain on the 5th stage here at the bottom. And these guys from Stevns Mountain Bike Club or something immediately offer him a new link. That was right of you guys. He really appreciated it. So thank you very much.
Jeg tror sgu, jeg er klar. God tur. Jo, tak.
Stage 6. At this stage, I told the other guys, I don't need any info. It's just confusing me. My small brain can't handle it. I can't ride my bike and think about riding my bike at the same time. I just have to ride. So it's better just to go blind. If you don't show up for training, just go blind. And that's what we do. This trail was a lot of fun, I think. It also was quite off-camber down here in the forest. You're riding on the side of the hill. But it was super nice. It was good loamy, some of it. Of course, it's very dry on this day. But there was some good loam parts. There was some good off-camber parts. It was tricky. It was physical. It was everything that I think a mountain bike race in Denmark should be. So kudos for this course. I don't know if it's a part of the trail usually, but I hope it is, because it was a lot of fun to ride. And of course, like all the other stages, when you're at the bottom of the hill and you think you're done, you have to continue. And you don't know for how long when you're riding blind. You just have to pedal as hard as you can. Then turn very sharp and just keep going. Keep pedaling, keep pedaling. But here we are approaching the finish, and a very chunky feature, but survived it and super happy.
Åh ja! Ja, den er let. Skal jeg bare køre, når jeg lige har lyst, eller hvad?
Ja, det gør du bare.
Okay, so time for stage 7. This one was one of my favorite stages. It was super tricky. You have to hammer down this gravel road for a beginning. Then we have a steep climb in 2 parts down here, and then the 3rd part on the top was super steep. I felt like I was standing still at the top, just here.
What the fuck?
Which I almost also was. And then we continue into some super tight forest. But the most tricky part was actually that there are so many trails in here, so when you're riding blind and you don't know where you're going, it's super hard to navigate. Here I want to go right, I see a trail right, but stage goes left. But that dude with the bell, he was super cool, I think. That was so motivating to have someone hammer a bell right next to you. And it makes you forget about your burning legs. So thank you very much, whoever he was. The final stage, stage 8. This one was a super fun trail. It's the most downhill one, and also the one where my single speed gearing was the biggest issue, and not because I couldn't get up a hill, but because I just couldn't pedal fast enough to gain more speed. So better speed suck, right? But yeah, there's not much to say about this stage. It was super fun. It was perfect to end with this one. I ended up in a 5th position overall, excluding the e-bikes. If you include the e-bikes, there were 2 faster e-bikes than me, so then we are in 7th place. Really happy with that. Not that I care much for the result, but I guess that it's cool that it shows that single speeding is not so bad after all. So this is probably the time to say a proper thank you to the guys from Devil Trails. This was an awesome race. I had so much fun. I actually didn't imagine it would be so much fun to race bike. The only thing I'm bummed about is that you only have 1 race a season. So I have to wait an entire year for the next one to come. But I really look forward to that one, and I will definitely be there. Also, huge shout out to 29er Bike Shop, who supports me in the YouTube channel. And to all of you guys who watches the videos, likes them, subscribe to the channel. It's super awesome. It's really motivating for making more. So keep doing that, and I will keep making videos.
Woo! Der var grineren!
Ja, den er fed. Det kan være så smadret. Du må også lige bruge de sidste trædekræfter.
Speed talk. Sig mig for så høj puls, jeg kan ned af.
Ja. Jeg kan køre op bag sidste meter her.
Ja, det er rigtigt. Træd, Danny! Ja, du vinder! Godt kørt!
Sådan. Der er også hæppekår på her, det var fedt.